Hello and welcome Panda Players back to Panda Plays, and today we're gonna do a bingo. It is a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 bingo. And you guys will, I'm sure you're like, oh, that's amazing, it's gonna have wonderful graphics, this is gonna be so great, I love talking about Zelda. Well, no, this is gonna be a slide presentation made in Google Docs. I don't go for those fancy graphics. I'm gonna be stuttering through this and reading off of my notes, my obsessive notes that I made for this bingo. It's very serious bingo. This is going to be the beginning of a huge Zelda series that I'm going to be doing to ramp up for the release of the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I'm going to be playing tons of Zelda games, almost all of them. We'll see. And I'm going to be doing some cooking sessions. We're gonna make some Zelda food. That might be a disaster. I haven't actually recorded any of those yet, so we'll see. So yeah, Zelda bingo. And if you guys want to play along and like make up your own bingos, that would be amazing. So yeah, I get the free space, and I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up, the middle horizontal of where this free space is gonna be filled with like my out there really out there ideas that are basically like my football fantasy teams, you know, or whatever. I don't know how football fantasy works. Okay. Okay, so the first little bit, oh, and before I get started, just I'll be paying attention to like the trailers and stuff, and like crossing out bingo spaces throughout the build up and while playing the game. So you just guys keep watching, because this bingo sheet will just keep popping up. Okay, so first one, I lost my place in my notes. This is what I get for writing notes, guys. Let's see. Okay, so the first is super indulgent, and it's that Gandorf becomes a good guy. And you guys are gonna be thinking like, Panda, that sounds like fan fiction, and you'd be totally right. So where is that fanfic? Someone please write it. But yeah, I just I think because kind of like in the last Breath of the Wild, you defeat like malice, like the malice and stuff, so all of the bad gunky demise corruption is gone, and I think it'll just leave the desert thief behind, and I think that'd be really cool to play around with. So yeah, the next one is, I think time travel will be coming back, and that we'll be time traveling 10,000 years in the past, when everything, all these mecha beasts or whatever were first created, and all the guardians and stuff. And I think where that like Ganondorf and stuff that we saw in the trailers, where that all like happened and started and everything, 10 years in the past. Mark that down, guys. I'm totally right about this. All right, I'm still losing track of where I'm at. should just go off my notes. I think that you'll be able to play as Zelda or Ganondorf if Ganondorf is a good guy. See, that's I'm building up here. I'm building on my predictions, which is not really smart to do with bingo, but whatever. So I think you can play as other characters, but only in like dungeons or in like certain parts of the overworld, or even like the underworld, like whatever. Or even if you play as someone else, like as like a puzzle solving like element, kind of like how you would play as someone else in Wind Waker. So yeah, just any kind of aspect of playing as a different character. All right, the next one is music-based powers. So like in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, like Wind Waker, you got certain powers from playing an instrument or directing music or whatever. And I think that'll come back, or I want it to come back, guys. I want it to come back. Let's just be real here. These are all my fantasy dreams. I want them to come back. I just think it's really cool to have magic that's based on like music, you know? You guys with me? Come on. I'm like losing half of you. Alright, on to the more realistic bingo slots. So, exploring lands outside of Hyrule. Cause there's like that border around Hyrule, but there's like land on the other side of it. And I think, you know, we've already explored every single inch of Hyrule. I have anyways, like literally every single inch of that. So I think to keep the game like fresh or new, you'll be able to explore other lands that are not the Kingdom of Hyrule. Yeah. Okay, I am literally ignoring my notes. No more looking at notes. Okay. Now I have to find somewhere to put my notes that I'm not looking at. Okay, so I think the Twilight Realm will be making an appearance, or maybe not even an appearance, like maybe like not like an Easter egg, but like it's alluded to or it's talked about or whatever. There's just like some theories online that I find pretty compelling with like just like the designs and stuff in the Breath of the Wild trailer. So yeah, and I think it'd be awesome if we brought it back, the Twilight Realm, back into play somehow. And the next one is that the Breath of the Wild 2 game is going to connect to the rest of the lore. I know they said that it wasn't going to, and that Breath of the Wild is so far in the future that literally all the past Zelda games could have happened in that one timeline. But also they can't help themselves from connecting stuff together. So, I mean, they made Skyward Sword to literally connect everything together. So yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. And I want more complex side quests. So some of the side quests in Breath of the Wild were really good, but most of them were just like, gimme. They weren't very long and they were very simple. So just some I think they're gonna up the side quest, up the ante on that to more of a, I don't know, what game has good side quests? I was gonna say Skyrim. Okay, Skyrim does have some like crazy out there side quests, so I'm just saying I love side quests. They're a little break you take when you don't want to progress the story, and they just I think they just need to be more interesting. Alright, swimming underwater. There can be a whole new dimension of exploring in this game if you can actually swim underwater. And like, it's not like a new idea. Most of the Zelda games you can swim underwater. Now I'm questioning myself. Anyway, yeah, it's a good idea. Nintendo, take note. Dungeons. I want some dungeons, and not just the same cookie cutter dungeons that they had in Breath of the Wild. Because those dungeons were pretty much all the same. So I want some themed dungeons. I want big dungeons, complex. I want to be stuck in them for hours. Yeah, just give me complex puzzles and dungeons, and I'll be happy. Okay, so for this one, the main baddie is not Ganon. Or Ganondorf. It'll be something along the lines of like a Majora, or like in Minish Cap, and it's just gonna be, I would prefer like completely like new villain, but they're gonna be no way associated with Demise or Ganondorf. So give me something fresh, give me something new. This is something that I actually missed a lot in Breath of the Wild, which is mini games that will make you swear for 15 minutes because they're so janky. Just kidding. You don't have to make it janky. Just mini games, period, you know? I kind of miss playing games within games in the Zeldaverse. And the next one, so the Triforce. This is interesting. So in Breath of the Wild, there was like no mention of the Triforce. I think the only thing we see is when Zelda uses her power, there's a triangle on her hand. I could be remembering that wrong though, so fact check me. But there's no talk of the Triforce. There's no like Triforce like imagery anywhere. It's just like Zelda's goddess inherited power, and then Link and the Master Sword, and that's it. So I think the Triforce will be coming back into play, hopefully. Don't make me a liar, Nintendo. Alright, so this is gonna go along with dungeons, and it's a mini bosses. And Breath of the Wild had some like mini bosses like out in the overworld, which was great. But I also want like mini bosses in my dungeons. Some little boss like warm up, you know. All right. Oh yeah. So now that we're not like trying to tell like what happened 100 years ago, we're like remembering what's been going on, I think now the descendants will be playing a bigger role. So like I wrote all their names down. But like Sidon and Yunobu, I think is his name. Hold on, I'm checking. I'm checking my notes. Sidon, Yunobu, Teba, and Bijou. I mean, Teba's not really descended from anyone, but, you know, whatever. I think they'll take the place of the previous champions, or they'll at least be playing a bigger role, like story-wise, if not also game-wise, in this. And on to the next one. I think there'll be a sky civilization. So I was just trying to come up with places, like ways you can still explore even though you've already explored all of Hyrule. And one of those is that there is a sky civilization. And the sky civilization has popped up a couple of times in the past games, but it's still kind of like mysterious and weird, and also a great way to explore new stuff. Speaking of exploring stuff, there is the ancient barbarian tribe in Farron. Is it Farron? This is what I get when I'm not looking at my notes. That was kind of like, they like mysteriously disappeared, or they were wiped out, but there's like no mention of them, like hardly anywhere. No one knows what happened to them. And they left all of these like huge structures behind, and I think we'll be able to get to explore that a little bit more in the next video game. So musical themes. So this is a big thing in Breath of the Wild, where they didn't have a like big orchestra like themes or like music. There's just the nice gentle like riding your horse music, or just like nature ambient sounds, and then there was the terrifying guardian music. And then you had like some like boss music and stuff. But I really miss just like having like a Zelda theme just like stuck in my head, and it's just like so good that I didn't even care if it was stuck in my head, because it was amazing. And I want more musical themes. Like, you can keep like the quiet like ambiance kind of like nature sounds, I'm fine with that, but just give me a couple more musical pieces, orchestra pieces, I don't know, just give me more music. Okay, hear me out guys, but aliens. I know aliens have only been in the series like once. Don't quote me on that. It could have been more. But I want some quirky aliens in Zelda again. We need more aliens. That's all I'm gonna say on that. And this one is not really a guess. It's pretty much guaranteed. There's gonna be new amiibos for this game that they'll come out with, and the real question here is, which ones am I gonna buy? That one's like a sucker's bet right there. Alright, this one, new established towns. So I think they'll be like rebuilding society and stuff or whatever, rebuilding Hyrule, and there's only like a few like really well established towns, and I would love to see like a city or like other new towns to explore, and just like more civilization, kind of taking back like that nature and destruction that we saw in the last game. Okay, a fishing pond. I mean, do I really have to say anything more than that? I want a fishing pond. I want to fish. I want to waste hours fishing while the world is burning. Okay, I want to catch the biggest fish there is and not feel bad about it. items and dungeons. So this kind of goes with like the mini bosses and the dungeons, and they're all kind of like connected. Is that I want to get specialized items in dungeons after fighting like the mini boss, you know? Like I don't mind finding weapons out in the open or just like anywhere, but I want like special items, and they don't even have to be weapons, just items in dungeons. You guys understand where I'm coming from. Okay. The last one. So I feel like this one's kind of a sucker bet too. More Sheikah tech. I think there will be more Sheikah tech that will be introduced in the game as a game element or mechanical element, just to give us more like powers, or even just like in story elements. I think there will be a new tech. So yeah. Thanks for coming to my presentation, guys. And this was my bingo sheet for the Breath of the Wild 2 game. I don't get anything if I get a bingo, just the satisfaction of fantasizing and guessing correctly. And I don't get anything if I lose either. But I do get to play Breath of the Wild 2, so that'll be worth it. But you guys, if you want, you can follow along with my bingo sheet. You can go to my Twitter, and I'll update it whenever new information comes out, and celebrate when I get things right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to be notified of when I upload another video, and I'll catch you all next time.